click.
Should use my thingy to make it up to level 30, but I can't figure out how to do it, so I just keep plodding along. I was playing last night Division, I really enjoyed it. And no, I'm really early start, so I'm going to go on Diablo, and I'm like, I'm just going to watch shit. Yeah, but I will jump on back on the wagon, don't panic. It's just tiredness.
The thing is, you'll jump on as we leave.
Yeah.
You've got Baldur's Gate 3 out soon.
I know, I've already got it as well, so...
Yeah, I have.
It's when? July?
August.
August 31st, yeah.
That's...
I've got plenty of time to max level Diablo, because that's easy.
My honest problem with Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be Starfield.
Yes.
If Starfield is good, I think Baldur's Gate 3 will become a Sunday evening campaign game.
Yeah.
Well, the way I'm looking at it is I'm going to do Baldur's Gate 3 because I play games for the story more than anything else. And I know I'll get through the story, then I can go into Starfield. So if I go to Starfield first, that's going to take forever. So you'll never have time to do Baldur's Gate 3, which is the game I've been waiting for since Early Access came out, and I bought it then. I think Starfield's going to be good. I don't think it's going to hook me as much as Baldur's Gate 3, partly because the ship combat again. It's like, well, I don't want ship combat.
It's Bethesda.
I want to be running away from everything if I can.
I have to say, I was watching the trailer and I thought ship combat capital's not going to like it.
No. It's like, I'm no good at ship combat, so it's like, well, if that's going to break the game so I can't go progress the story further, you're screwed. Because it's a single player game, isn't it? It's like, I can't call in friends to come and help me get past it because it. So, yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is going to take my attention first. My biggest problem with Baldur's Gate 3 is that I've got so many ideas for characters. Which one do I play?
Yeah.
If they bring in everything that's in the books, so you've got all the subclasses and things like Doomstalker from things from Tasha's and things like that, all the domains, then I've got loads of ideas. If they don't...
I don't think they are. I think they're bound by Player's Handbook only.
Yeah, because it's the whole thing I want to do a Warlock, but I have to do a Witch.
No, there is a Warlock. There will be a Warlock.
Warlock's in Players.
Yeah, but it's not in Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah, it is. One of the NPCs that's walk around with is a Warlock.
Well, why couldn't I create one then? That's weird.
Don't know. When did you last try? Because as they've been going along,
yes,
they've
been
been
adding more.
introducing things.
I'll have a check this weekend.
Warlock wasn't out of the gate, was it? It wasn't right at the beginning.
No. Yeah, one of the NPCs is a Warlock.
Yeah, I wondered that because I created a Tiefling, but then I, like I said, it's the best way we do a Witch character. A Witch? I'm sure it's a Witch.
But isn't that a Witch class?
What class did I go for?
Are you thinking of Path of the Righteous, of Pathfinder 2? Which definitely doesn't have a Warlock class because they don't exist in Pathfinder.
No, they don't in Pathfinder, no. I don't know, I'm going to have to go back and have a look.
You play so many games, you lose track.
I do.
Yeah. Oh, we can't keep joining us. Give him till 5:30 and we'll kick off.
Yeah. Oh, God.
What do you want?
I'm having a dry week, so it's all a blood of virgin drinks and things like that. And tea.
Most of my weeks are dry.
Yes, mine should be, to be fair, but hey ho. There's
I
nothing
know
better than
it's
getting home and having a cold beer.
it's oh, it's got to be over 20 years since I've had alcohol.
Seriously, well done.
Yeah. I just don't like the taste of it, so I don't bother.
That's why Catherine was always fun at the parties.
It's like, yeah, I don't drink it. There's very few that I can tolerate, and usually I'll have one or two, and I'm fed up after that of it, of the taste, and go to soft drinks or something. So, yeah, there's.
Well, I'll just be happy to acknowledge that I'm drinking your share then.
Oh, that's fine. Kind of put me off again on my 18th birthday when I went out. My mates were spiking my drinks, and I didn't know. And I had a hangover for a week. I literally was throwing up for 24 hours, dry heaving, and I had a banging head for 7 days.
See, I don't do hangovers. I don't get them. It's weird.
Because your alcohol tolerance is probably quite through the roof.
Oh yeah.
But
You drink every day.
the spirits don't really touch me much. But
No, well,
I get drunk very quickly.
There's only one spirit that throws me over the edge, and that's Jameson's. It's weird. I can drink any other whiskey, I can drink it all night long, but Jameson's is one that just goes bang.
Oh, one of the Christmas parties, one of the guys that I went from our office introduced me to Navy rum. We drank the hotel dry, and I had to help him get out of the hotel to the taxi because he couldn't stand. Yes, I'd never drunk it before. I hadn't been drinking for years beforehand, and drank him under the table. I was merry, but I wasn't legless. I could walk. I was still compos mentis type thing. I knew exactly what was going on.
If you know anything about physics, you'll know the key fact that alcohol will change the strength of gravity.
I'm fairly sure that's air resistance, but I'll go with alcohol as well.
I like Jameson's Red Breast.
Yeah, I've been threatening to get myself a bottle of that, but Lisa's like, it's £100. It won't last 5 minutes.
That's what strength you want. So a 12-year-old is 50 quid. 18-year-old is 160.
Yeah.
27-year-old is 500. So it depends what kind of age you want. The 12-year-old is what we typically drink when we go out in Northern Ireland. It's beautiful. That or a 15-year-old, but normally it's 12 and it's really nice.
No, I will get a bottle.
You just won't tell
No.
the other half.
I'll wait for my payout. So, I did get me this as well.
It's birthday and Christmas presents tying into one.
Yeah, well, I did the Father's Day by getting the memory.
That's an expensive Father's Day present.
It's worth it. I'll tell you. It makes streaming so much easier because before I had that many windows open, my system was going like, "What the hell are you doing?" And now it's like, just open them all.
I'm streaming Twitch on my tablet.
No.
Just for Diablo rewards. We're up to the Druid one, is it?
Our Saturday night GM's got a free copy of Starfield off Bethesda.
Already?
Yeah, well, he's a partner for them for streaming ESO.
Yeah.
Has he played it yet?
No, he told us on Saturday, so I'll have to find out if it's an advanced one or whether he's got a free copy.
Even.
No.
Yeah, I've got a friend that I know who will definitely go along the pirate route and be attacking anybody and everybody. He always goes for the evil route in games.
More importantly, will he be going yar as he takes them out?
Possibly. He's our fighter in the Friday game. He's the one that was the troll slayer that killed the troll in one round
Ah,
in Warhammer. That's weird. If I don't have the coat on the back of the chair, my head kind of disappears half of it because the back of the chair is black. But with that, you can actually see all of my head.
There you go. Let that be a lesson.
Yeah, see, I normally take it off so you don't see a coat, but weird.
All right, gentlemen, shall we begin? Blah, blah, Malta, blah, blah, weapons, blah, blah, boom, boom, blah. So last session, which was, I can't remember when it was now, a couple of weeks ago, I won't say raided, but you certainly got yourself into the hospital to look at Dr. Salazio's office and the things that he's been up to. You discovered that he had been experimenting with the local nectar, what people call orange juice. The experimentations that he'd been doing were absolutely meaningless. They would have zero effect. They have been doing something with Donovan's son. It seems like Salazio had some kind of ritual or chant in his room that you identified as a if I remember what it was now.
Like a curse more than anything, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It links him to the mouth.
Rite of the Liar's Blessing, I believe it's called, which was a blessing that you could use to the liar would then cause pain on somebody if he so deemed that that's what they wanted to do. You didn't do anything with the boys. You left them where they were. You then, following morning on the 14th, the Thursday, you had decided to get yourself down into the catacombs to try and locate a weapons cache from the British Army barracks. You did manage to do so, and I believe you've given yourself a whole bunch of things. A whole bunch of toys to play with.
Yeah, I feel like Charlie Sheen in Hot Shots.
Yeah. Got a bunch of rifles, a bunch of ammo, sights for rifles, a bunch of grenades, and some, I think it's Minoc or Minoc, some shape charges.
I've got a Tommy gun. No idea what that's at, but
Oh, that's probably why that's not working. There you go. Okay, I believe you'd left the sewers and the barracks, gone back to your car, and you were contemplating what you needed to do the rest of the day. So, what do you want to do? You do know the freighter is due to leave on high tide tomorrow.
That's right. We were going to check out the yacht, weren't we? Donovan's yacht.
Yeah. Essentially use that to destroy the freighter.
Yeah. But didn't we also want to find out where the doctor lived? Oh, no, we passed that information on to the knight, didn't we?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, you passed on some information to the knight about the behaviour of the doctor and what he was doing.
It was mainly the boats, I think. That's how to get there.
Hmm.
I don't think you can fly the Zephyr or Blimp or whatever it was to drop things on it again.
It would be a little bit obvious, I think.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
I'm just going to burn 4 stealth to put me down to what I should be up to 2 points. It's maxed it out.
Okay, no problem. Don't forget you have another 2 XP from last session. So, do you have any clue as to where Donovan's yacht is moored?
You mentioned the marina was kind of tied in with the military base. They were all the boats were kind of together. So there was the military harbour and the other ships. So I'm guessing it's going to be around there.
On the map, it was kind of to. I thought it was just slightly to the north of the military bit. Did the side of the island look down on it?
Yeah, to a degree. I don't know where the map's gone. I'm just hang on. Did we have a map that you were looking at?
We had
yes.
something. The Elgins isn't quite as big as I thought it would be. That's good.
Yeah, I can't seem to find a top-down view map. I don't think we had a top-down view map.
Yeah,
Did we?
We saw where the
warehouse and everything was.
Yeah.
It wasn't of the whole island. It was just literally the.
Up by Valletta more than. Yeah, the island. It was more around a map of Valletta.
Yeah, it's gone missing, and I don't know where it's gone. So let me. Give me a minute. I need to rebuild it. I didn't realise that this is what happened. No, because in my prop folder, there's no map of Valletta, so I don't know where that came from.
I shared 2 in chat, but I don't think anybody looked at them.
That might be what it was. Okay. Anyway,
I do seem to remember like a drawn map. Was it like a drawn map of the above?
Yeah, black and white. Yeah.
Yeah. I seem to remember that.
I can't find it. It's gone missing. Gone walkies.
All right.
We shall use theatre of the mind.
The
Oh, we're fucked then.
especially if you're tired, right? Okay, well you're already sort of in the dock area, aren't you? You're in the kind of the warehouse area just off the main dock area.
Yeah.
So you can drive back out into the dock area and see if there's any way that you can identify or figure out the location of Donovan's yacht.
Yeah, the boat's called the Elegance, isn't it? So
Yeah.
The boat is indeed called the Elegance. How do you want to go about trying to find it?
It was going to be too obvious. I was asking the dockmaster things would kind of give it away, wouldn't it?
I kind of think if he's anything like me, he's a man of power. So it's going to be quite there on view. It's not going to be hidden at the back somewhere.
But it's going to, as it's likely to be one of the bigger ones, it's going to be easy to get out without potentially damaging it.
Yeah.
So it might have its own private slip or something like that.
We can always go to the public portmaster.
Yeah, but the word might get back to him.
Yeah, you can do that. It's up to the choices are all yours, right? Just tell me what you want to do.
Or just have a wander around. If we're tourists, we can just have a look around and go around the yachts and see the one that's called Elegance.
Yeah, get the camera out. Journalist doing an article on the place.
I'll have to come up with a backstory if it's the docks. Just walk around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just in case for stuff. I'll just say I'm a photographer for.
I'm on holiday.
Get
Get out of my face.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go for a wander.
Okay. So you find an area sort of not too far away from the interesting. Okay. Give me fried chicken. Gossip tests, wrong game.
What song's that from? There's a song where
It's a Queen song.
That's the one.
Give me a. All right. Well, it's up to you. You can use some of your.
It's one vision, isn't it?
One vision,
Yeah.
Interpersonal skills. So if you want to either spend or just tell me how you're using an interpersonal skill.
Well, are there people walking around the docks as well? Any dock workers?
Oh, dock workers, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go up to a dock worker and I'll put my thickest American accent because I want to sound a bit what's the word? Hey there, my good man. There's a lot of yachts here. These are beautiful things. Do you mind if we take some photos?
He looks at you quizzically. Yacht?
Boats, the ships, these beautiful things here.
Yes.
What's the best one here?
There are no yachts here. They're in the North Bay. And he kind of gestures to the boats. He says, that's a freighter, that's a warship, that's a frigate, that's a destroyer, that's a freighter. And now as you look in the southern stretches where you are, the letters to the north of you across the bay, it's all commercial or military marine traffic. You see no signs of any yachts. If you want yachts, you need to go to the docks on the North Bay.
Oh, do you know, silly me. He just looks so... Especially, see that one with the guns? You can catch lots of fish with that thing.
You can. And don't tell me one boat.
Commonly known as fucking cheating, though.
Don't tell me. Don't you dare say one boat looks the same as another. He shakes his head.
No, I wouldn't know. Thank you for your help, Gabba. I'll shake his hand vigorously and off we go.
No problem. So, with that in mind,
as I'm walking away, I'm going to say to Alfred, they all look the same, don't they?
Not really.
with that in mind, you clamber back into the car and you head back into Valletta, up to the north side of Valletta, and start to track eastwards towards the end of Valletta, looking as you go for the pleasure marina, you know, the more non-commercial side of boating. You eventually let me just throw. I was trying to find. I've lost things. I don't understand why. If we go back to this map.
Which one? Oh, I see. It's Donovan and his wife's popped up.
Donovan's wife's popped up. Hang on. Okay, all right. I'm having a bad evening. This one. Sorry. There you go. So the map of Valletta. Turns out that I can't ping it, but where the arrow is, which is where you roughly know Donovan's townhouse to be, this area to the north is kind of like, as you go around past the two steeples, you see like an indent, which is where the Pleasurecraft Marina is. To the south, you were across the water on this area to the south here. It's not quite the south. I think if you're looking at it, the map in this direction, it would be east, but technically it's the south if you look at the orientation of Valletta. This is where all the majority of the military aircraft, ships and cargo ships sit, and there is a little bit of military traffic in the north, not a huge amount. So you wind your way over to the marina and get yourself out and look about.
Yeah.
Looking out for any of what's his name? Donovan's guards.
Yeah.
Just
Those
there's bound
bodyguards,
to
yeah.
be- yeah, there's bound to be some of those boats somewhere where his property is. So keep an eye out for anything like that.
Okay.
Wander around, see if we can spot it.
Like I say, if it's here, it'll have pride of place.
You can get some high ground. I'll have a look with binoculars as well. See.
There is one yacht that seems a little out of place. It's moored out in the waters of the bay. Definitely not anywhere near the normal pleasure craft that have been moored in and around the marina. In fact, does anybody have outdoorsmen?
Yes.
Okay. To your eye, this yacht is actually moored in the middle of what looks like the deep water shipping lanes into this northern bay. You find very odd, your rudimentary, between you, your rudimentary knowledge of shipping, that shouldn't really be allowed.
No.
It's probably a quarter of a mile offshore. Maybe a little bit further, maybe half a mile. Certainly it's swimmable, but it's not an easy swim.
And the problem is, if we're taking weapons and explosives, we don't really want to get the weapons wet.
No.
So we'll have to steal a ship to steal the ship.
Or a
Glancing
small
around-
boat, at least.
Or we can just take
Glancing
another boat.
I'd say, glancing around, there are a number of motorboats and things that are all moored up against the marina side.
Yeah, I'll whisper to Ralph and Alfred and just... we're going to have to pick another boat, I think. I don't think we're going to get across there safely. And I think the reason for taking the boat was just so they wouldn't get shot at if they thought that Mr. Donovan was coming to pay a visit.
Correct.
Still rather not get shot at.
Unless we want to get a rowboat and just row ourselves across there.
To where the freighter is from.
So what time is it? What time is it now? And what
It
time
is
does it?
about, it is probably about 20 past 2 in the afternoon.
And how long have we got now? Until it buggers off?
About 24 hours.
Okay, so we'll do it tonight anyway, so
Yeah.
probably a rowboat might be as good as anything.
Mm.
Because it's quiet.
That boat is going to be with the military ships, though, isn't it? The one that we want to blow up.
Oh, yeah.
There's military ships in the bay, it's not with them.
So we're not going to have to worry about them being on lookout around the thing. We're not going close enough to the ships for them to be keeping watch around them.
The problem is, we were going to shoot the explosives, weren't we? Or we're going to set a waterproof timer or some kind of fuse on it.
Yeah, but
will this fuse work underwater? Because we were intending to attach one to its propeller, weren't we?
Yeah.
Disable those, it's not going anywhere.
That's repairable as well. Ideally, we do it something on the side as well to punch a hole through it.
We can stick one in one of the vent holes or whatever that's in there. I'm sure there's some.
All questions that you will find out when you do it.
Yeah. I've got to put together the explosives first anyway.
If we're lighting a fuse and going, it's going to have to be a long fuse for us to row out the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something we can sort out back at the room, can't we? Or wherever we're going to assemble these explosives. I don't think we're able to do it in the hotel.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what we can use as a fuse.
All right. You believe you know where the elegance is. You can ask a harbour master as well. Yeah, it's not a problem. In your guise of pretending to be American tourists, taking photos and things, you comment to one of the harbour masters about the yacht that's kind of moored out in the shipping lanes, and his response is, that is Signor Donovan's yacht. He has special dispensation from the harbour master to moor it there.
Is it a danger? Or
It is an inconvenience to ships coming in, and we have to regularly steer them around it.
so why is it parked there? Did he say?
He wants to be able to see it.
Yeah, I must admit, it's a pretty beautiful ship. So that,
Wouldn't it be easier for him to have his own private pier by his house than moor it in the
or
middle of a ship?
take a picture.
The Signore does not wish it to be moored near his house, or the memories that it holds. But he does wish to be able to, to see it from his house.
Okay.
Memories. I feel there's a story here.
The sad tale of his wife and her untimely death.
Oh shucks.
Your guilt's a terrible thing.
So that's where he actually murdered her.
I bet she's still on there, tied up in somewhere.
Could be.
Have you not worked out what he did to her yet?
Probably fed her to the mouth, or he's or maybe she's on there and she's been slowly fed to it with that ritual.
All the more reason to go to the yacht then. Okay. Anything you want to do for the rest of the afternoon, and then we can move you to the yacht in the evening.
Well, I'll be trying to make the explosives, I guess.
Yeah.
That'll be a quick thing.
Would there be somewhere on the island to find any sort of waterproof fuse?
For underwater mining or
Yeah.
salvaging ships or something like that type of thing.
Yes, there would be. It's called the naval base.
Right, let's break into the naval base.
Give me a preparedness roll.
I was going to say, can I use preparedness? So pick some up. I'm really low on that.
Do you want me to use it? Because I'll have been fumbling around with you.
I've got 2
Beg
points.
your pardon.
Hey, were you prepared?
Not for that, no.
Here we go.
He's just got the one and he hasn't washed it out.
Yeah.
Don't
There you go.
want
It's
to
a
go there.
preparedness.
Nice roll.
It's one of those where I've been, when we're in the base getting the explosive, somebody just grabbed a roll of cord.
Funnily enough, with the Minol charges that you got, you did actually get some waterproof deck cord, or the equivalent of waterproof fusing or blasting caps.
Does make sense. 'Cause it is for use. It can be used underwater, so it would make sense. Okay.
Right, that's one worry alleviated. I don't have to try and shoot the damn thing to set it off.
Dynamite's not going to be much use there, though.
No.
That'll just get wet and so.
A place to set this up, what I would suggest is, and this is Joseph's only good idea is going to come out of this, I think, it's why don't we get everything we need from the hotel, put it into the car if we've not done it already, and then maybe go back into the catacombs and set everything up in there. We don't have to see the night, we can just go into one of the tunnels. There's that's not booby trapped.
Yeah, okay. You can do that.
Or that warehouse I picked all the doors from.
Or the empty warehouse across the road.
Of course, yeah, the one with the stairway to yeah.
The stairway to hell. I mean heaven.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The catacombs.
Oh, it was my heaven, all that weaponry and explosives and things. So
It does mean a drive from there once you've done it back to the other side of the island to the private boat.
Yeah, it does mean a bit of a drive, but driving, yeah.
It's not an issue.
Oh.
It's just
if we're using a rowboat to get to this thing, then there'll be a rowboat nearer this side of the island, surely, that we could use. Don't need to go across to the other harbour to use one. We're on an island. So there's going to be plenty of small rowboats about, I would assume.
we could always go across that beach next to the container and.
I'll let you go first. Yeah, you can find all the mines and the mouths.
The mouths, yeah.
That's what I think of that idea.
But while you're doing that, I'm going to I will have a wander around, not anywhere near the warehouse or the freighter, but I will have a look around the dock area, see if there is a boat. I'd rather not take a hunch as.
Give me another preparedness. Give me another preparedness roll.
Yeah.
Still doing it. All right. So you kind of, I guess you're abandoning the idea of getting the Elegant and using that. I mean, it does mean you're going to have to sail it out round the tip of Valletta, back in. And
the other thing as well, you were saying that, or the hardmaster was saying that he likes to look at it, and if he looks out at whatever time, we know he stays up quite late and goes for a meal, and if he looks out and sees it gone, there could be issues there. But I still want to go there after we've done this and have a look at it.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I still think we need to go to the Elegans just essentially after the ship's been sabotaged.
I think it'd be too noisy to get in there as well.
Okay.
We could technically take a motorboat and some oars and sail a motorboat and use turn the engine off and coast in.
Yeah.
If needs be.
Indeed. You will find on a small warehouse plot, maybe 300-400 yards away from Donovan's warehouse, you will find an upturned, you know how people kind of put a yacht upside down on a couple of pieces of blocks of wood just to, you know, there are tucked inside are the oars.
Oh, wonderful boat and oars.
It's probably about half the size of a typical liner's.
Or like a rescue boat type thing.
Yeah, it's about that's what I was thinking about. Half the size of a liner's rescue boat. Probably enough space in it for probably 6 people comfortably. 10 people would get to a squeeze.
The only problem with this is there's no engine attached to it.
There is no engine. It is a pure rowboat.
But then if you set the fuses long enough, we can be in there, attach it and be away in no time.
Oh, yeah, we were thinking of ease to get there more than anything. What we need is someone with animal friendship, charm as dolphin to tow us all the way around.
may be able to find an outboard motor attached to another boat that we can remove. One of the, ones you clip on.
Possibly, but
You want to look for one of those? I need another preparedness roll.
Ideally, you'd look for the motorboat, though. Or just take the oars off this and take the other motorboat.
Yeah, that would make more sense. Do you need to spend on this one? So you've spent.
Sure.
Yeah, that's why I don't like rolling.
There is no motorboat visible this. Remember, you're on the southern, what is effectively the southern side of Valletta, across the bay, on that bank. There is no motorboat in the vicinity that looks easy to access.
I think in which case we take one from the Pleasure Harbour, bring it round and row it when we get close.
Okay.
Yeah. Good, yeah.
And if all goes well, we can come back the same way and have a look at the elegance.
All right. You spend the bulk of the rest of the afternoon prepping weapons, prepping explosives, and getting yourself ready. You've probably it's probably by now closer to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Any other preparations?
Resupply ammo, make sure you've got dark clothing.
Yeah, I've still got my balaclava. It's going to be blooming hot, but
No, it should be alright. It's nice to be cold. The temperature drops.
I'm not really dropping that much when I was in Malta.
Global warming, that.
Yeah, this is before that.
Well, I've got my trusty rifle, so.
Yeah, I got my Tommy gun.
Sunset in March in Valletta is approximately 20 past 6. So it's about 2 hours away. 2 hours. 3 hours. No, 20 to 3. 24, 25, 20 to 6. It's about 2.5 hours away.
Let's get something to eat. Then at least we've if we have to make a run for it, we've got to go full bellies.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can spend a couple of hours enjoying an early evening meal for sure. Again, you choose a fairly local cuisine, maybe fish or something along those lines. The food, as always, is of good quality. The wine is of good quality. The company, despite your being on the road together for the best part of 5 months, you're not bored of each other yet. There is an element of intenseness about you. Sort of your conversation, in quiet tones, always comes back to what the plan is and how you're going to execute it.
You haven't got anything for attaching this underwater, have we? Like, you haven't got scuba gear or rebreathers or anything?
You haven't got those. No.
No, I was hoping that literally just go in there, hold your breath, go in, wrap some cord around it, use some of the fuse that you're not going to be using to tie it into place.
Yeah, but I'm still going to have to dive down to where the propeller is and attach it while underwater.
We can hold you under. In fact,
also,
Ralph can do it. He's used to that.
Yeah. Also, what is the wildlife in the water like? Are there any dangerous?
It'll be a shipping lane, won't it? There'll be bugger all in there.
There's only sharks and things like that. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sharks, jellyfish, manta rays.
Whatever. If you see a shark, don't swim away, because just stay in the same place, because they can't stop swimming, can they? They've got to keep moving. So you'll be
Yeah,
fine.
they just keep coming at me, chomp as they go past.
Yeah.
So you need to be in the water as well as bait while I'm actually fishing this. That works for me.
Okay.
Rebreathe is probably all I need. Something.
Get a snorkel. Get a tube. All we need is a rubber pipe. Get yourself some goggles, a rubber pipe. Breathe through the pipe and look what you're doing.
I have no idea how scuba
Haven't
gear
you,
works.
haven't you, as a child, haven't you ever laid back in underwater with like a piece of cane in your mouth, breathing through it?
Nope.
And then jump up and go, boo!
You could technically just free dive it. Depends on what your swimming's like.
Yeah. My personal one is non-existent. This one, I don't know.
Well, not being, but there is the old meme about American black guys not being able to swim. There is that.
So which one of you two is actually going to go and fit this?
Do you know what? I tell you what. Joseph would do it. But unfortunately, he's driving a boat.
I can drive. I'm good at driving.
Do I have a swim? What would it come under?
It would probably go under athletics, wouldn't it?
I'm under athletic.
Oh, I'll do it.
Yeah, we can both do it. It's not a problem. It's just I suspect it's going to take longer than just free diving.
Yeah. I just need Ralph to keep the boat in one place. Yeah, let's do this. And then we'll pick up either some rope or, like I say, use any leftover fuse to tie this thing in place.
Okay. After your lunch, you wait for sort of 20-30 minutes for the sun to kind of properly set, the darkness to set in, for Valletta, certainly across the bay to start, the darkness to come in. You make your way back to the marina. The main marina building is, as you expect, dark. Though there is a small hut at one end of the marina that has a light on.
Just avoid it. Best yeah.
We won't be using the engine to leave anyway, so.
Look out for anyone patrolling.
Okay. The moon is out tonight. It is a waxing gibbous moon, whatever that means. My app does actually tell me. It is between a half moon and a full moon. It is getting bigger, heading towards the full moon. It is casting some light in the area, and so there is enough light for you to see a small distance without the need for torches and things. But equally, it does silhouette you at times as you move around.
Keep as much of the shadows as we can and try to find a small boat with an engine that's far enough away from this lit up cabin.
Okay, give me stealth rolls.
use most of my stealth later on.
Everybody's putting big spends into from stealth. Okay,
3 5s.
3 5s.
Yahtzee.
You find a suitable boat. It's a smallish motorboat, probably designed for 4, maybe. Actually, you'll find a motorboat designed for 6 persons. It has obviously the outboard motor and a pair of oars with it.
Use the oars to start with.
I bet it doesn't have an anchor, does it? It's just a little wooden shell, isn't it going to be?
It certainly doesn't seem to need to have an anchor. It is moored to the side of one of the jetties. It is one of the pleasure craft that the harbour rents out on an hourly basis.
Ah, perfect. Climb in and store our gear and slowly untie and push away.
Okay.
Hang on. Before you do that, is it a push button start or does it have a key?
Good
Push
thinking.
Push ourselves 200 yards into the...
I realised you need a key.
Yeah.
No, I think it would be a push button.
Well, it'd be a cord, wouldn't it, more than anything?
Probably, yeah. Or the ripcord type thing.
Like your lawnmower.
Yeah.
No, but depend. Is it an outboard that you steer from the back, or is it does it have an outboard? Does it have a motor at the back where you steer at the front?
I would have thought it's just a big motor with a big handle.
Either works anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's kind of got, let's have a look, see if I can describe it. So the very front, obviously you've got your steering wheel, you've got a small shield, you've then got 2, and then straight behind it, another 2. Then kind of an area next, which is probably where the engine compartment is, and then a smaller 2 right at the back.
Sorry, yeah. I'd envisioned a wooden plank seated boat with a motor just stuck in the back.
Like an old like a rowing boat or something from the deep south in America.
That's right. I didn't realise that had a steering wheel.
Yeah, so something like that I've just posted in the Discord chat. "22-foot baby Garwood, twice the crown, 75 horsepower engine, and it's going to be a push button start at the front." So a very nice kind of boat.
Yeah, my granddad used to have one like that.
Oh no, it's key start. If you look, there is a picture. It is a key start, but the key is there. Yeah, if you look at the picture, if you go to the thing, there's a picture of the steering wheel, and it looks to have a key fob.
Yeah.
And a key.
Oh yeah.
But maybe, usual kind of places, the key is probably tucked underneath the dashboard or something, and you can just reach underneath and pull it out, and keys there. Typically, we're probably not really at an age where people steal boats for the fun of it.
Yeah, I don't think 1930s Malta. I don't think boat crime is a big thing.
Yeah.
Where do you take it?
Especially when you're surrounded by military boats.
Yeah, you're not going to get funny.
And not on a 75 horsepower engine that probably goes put, 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 as it drives along.
Yeah, that was weird. I just lost connection to the server. and then reconnected it again.
Right, so get a fair distance away as we can before we start the engine.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So that's interesting. Go about 40 miles an hour, this boat.
That's probably faster than the car I've got.
Yeah, probably. It's got seat belts, that's the main thing. I'm going to go 40 miles an hour in that thing. It's a swell, and suddenly you're all out in the water.
Whee! I'll be taking it nice and steady and slow, because the faster you go, the louder it is, isn't it? So.
Yeah. You get it out.
I beg your pardon?
You get it out beyond the sort of the breakwaters of the marina, and out into the shipping channel. Over to your left, as you're kind of rowing out to your left-hand side, you can see the Elegance, the silhouette of the Elegance just kind of sat there, probably about 250 yards further west of your location. You steer the boat around a little bit and then start the engine. The journey around the point of Valletta, out far enough so that you don't draw too much attention to yourself from passers-by, but not too far that you get yourself snarled up in any of the military traffic. The journey is probably about half an hour, maybe a little bit longer, but we'll call it half an hour. As you come round that bay and down into the sort of the main shipping part, you kind of then, you come around the island, then you're going to have to swing across the shipping. Oh, I've lost connection to the server.
You re-established straight away, just auto refresh the page.
Hasn't for me.
Oh, it did for me.
Yes, it has. Automatic. Yeah, it's come back. Still thinks I'm logged in though. Back in. To wait for it to drop. I can continue to describe things though. You have to not dart across, but come across the sort of the harbour, the natural harbour between the south shore of Valletta, the north shore across the other side of the bay, where the freighter is moored. I need a give me. And I have a major problem because I cannot get back in. Give me.
Just refresh the page. I didn't even need to do that. I stayed in.
No, it's just booted me completely, and it still thinks the game's master's logged in.
Yeah, it's showing you as logged in still. Do you want to take a quick break and then reboot and come back in?
Yeah, let's take a 10-minute break. I might need to just completely reboot the server because I can't physically get into the server.
Right, so we'll say back at 8:40 to be safe.
Say back at 8:40, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll give it 5 minutes to just time out, and then we'll see what happens.
Oh, you found the map. Just been watching a new Craven trailer. Craven the Hunter, yeah, it's just dropped. Oh yeah, it's R-rated. Oh no. Whereabouts? Oh, beautiful.
Oh, Valley of Plenty.
Hey Google, pause music.
I can imagine us four sat in the front there and the back's loaded up with dynamite.
That's exactly what I'm imagining.
Yeah.
Oh,
That with Los Angeles.
okay. So if you look on the map, you can see, hopefully, you can see, roughly speaking, a black line of the path that you need to travel to get to roughly where you're going. So you kind of hug the coastline, not too close, but not too far, because you're only in a little putt-putt boat. And it takes you a fair while. So by the time you get sort of peeing you bugger about here, ready to kind of cut across the Porto Grand Channel, it's probably getting on for about 8 o'clock. A little chilly on the water, very dark on the water. Behind you, the lights of Valletta light up. To the south of you, here and there, you can see some light. You probably can't see the lights of the main fort, which is kind of down here to the south. But you can see some lights. And I think this map is probably much older than the situation in reality, because you'll be able to drive your vehicles up into the warehouse area. And it's not blocked behind a large fort that it seemed to suggest it is. But I thought this was just a good map just to give you a rough idea of the orientation of things and where things are in general. And so you probably took, the Elegance is probably about there. And if Donovan's house is sort of here, gives him a view. So yeah, it's actually the Elegance is probably a little bit further north. The elegance is probably out here somewhere. And his house has a direct view of the boat.
You see,
Come.
as we're drawing closer, I want to be looking for any sort of searchlights from the ships.
Okay. I need you to make a driving roll. Or a pilot roll, or whatever skill you're using to get yourself across the bay.
Yeah,
It's gonna. Yeah, I was gonna say, well, it's got a steering wheel, so I might as well use drive.
Yeah. Okay. You swing yourself out into the main channel. You do have to increase the power because there is a channel that's running. It's a tidal channel, and it's a little bit stronger than what the motorboat is designed to cope with at a slow speed. There are a number of British warships, probably sort of in this kind of area. There's probably one. There's probably one out here, and there's probably a couple out here as well. That are all just kind of generally patrolling the area, or parked up, moored up, taking on supplies and things like that. There are a couple. The ones that have searchlights was probably this one. Was probably the searchlight one, mostly, and maybe one of these is searchlights as well. You're able to kind of steer around the searchlights. They're not really flashing the searchlights close enough to the coastline of Valletta. They're more kind of sweeping it around the main incoming channel, giving you plenty of scope to creep past, and then gun the engine across the channel. So you make it across, no problem really, into the general vicinity of where you believe the frigate that you're looking for is moored.
Yeah, once I feel the flow of the water ease, I'll lower the engine again to as quiet as I can get it.
Yep. Okay.
And then we want to be coming into the water side of the cargo vessel.
I need an outdoorsman spend, please, from somebody.
Probably me. It's a spend rather than a roll.
It's a technical skill, so it's not a roll as such. Okay. You're able to quickly ascertain a number of landmarks that you'd previously sort of committed to memory to give you a rough approximation of where the freighter would be. It takes you a little bit of time finding it, but as we kind of roll to about 8:30 in the evening, sure enough, you can see nestled among a number of you can see the freighter moored up against the wharf. It's the only freighter in probably a 200-300 yard radius. And that's one of the things, when you were looking for your rowboat earlier, that you'd kind of relayed back to Alfred in terms of the positioning. So you bring the boat in from the water side. Are you going to row it in, or are you going to bring it in on engine power?
No, we can get to a certain point and row. Yeah, hopefully momentum will take us there as well.
Okay, so you can give yourself a bit of momentum, but give me an athletics check or an athletics spend. Taking up the oars, you're able to steer the boat, the motorboat, close in to the freighter without anybody spotting you. Interestingly, what you do notice is that there is occasionally a spotlight from the upper deck that is sweeping the wharf front and the warehouse front. Nobody's really paying attention to the sea side.
Which I'll whisper, looks like luck's in our favour tonight. Let's head for the rear.
So what we're looking at, just so you're aware, is this. Not a small boat by any stretch of the imagination.
It's like the one off Indiana Jones.
Exactly. Mind you, there is a person on here, so it's not a huge vessel either.
Well, that's because it's not going to be a massive tanker then, because it should have a shallow bottom to it.
Yeah.
The propeller will effectively delay its going anywhere, but it won't actually stop it, will it?
No, but if you look where the water's coming out the side of it,
Yeah.
if you get something inside there.
Yeah, hopefully that will do some damage as well.
What's your goal? Is it to sink it or just to cripple it?
Definitely cripple it and potentially sink it if possible.
Sinking would be better because then we're going to destroy any of the nectar that's on it. But
or it'll go into the local populace and
we'll have a whole island full of people that just staring into space.
Well, Lord knows what it'll do to the fish and the sharks.
Yeah, it does that to them. All the fishermen suddenly have huge catches, and it spreads to the population.
Yeah.
You managed to get, if you recall, you managed to get yourself 4 prep charges of minol.
Yeah.
Certain, and a bunch of grenades.
Grenades and dynamite. 18 dynamite, 6 grenades.
Yeah.
I think we concentrate on the minor because dynamite's going to be crap out here.
Yeah, dynamite. I wouldn't have even brought dynamite because it wouldn't do any good. Grenades I would have. What you could do is put a grenade next to minor through the holes type of thing. So it's just more explosion. Won't be any good in the water, I would have thought, but be good for popping down the holes. Then when things start exploding,
even try to jam it in the holes and take the pins out.
Well, I wasn't even thinking of pulling the pins out because then you've got very little time to get away.
Well, no, if they're
the grenades aren't going to add too much to what the miner's going to do anyway. I think you're just wasting grenades at that point.
Well,
how are you going to do it? We've got 4 of them. You say?
Yeah.
6 grenades for minor.
Oh, forget the grenades for now.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the 4 minor. What kind of hole will one of them put into the side of this hull?
The charge is the kind of charge that goes into a torpedo.
Okay.
So if we get inside one of these bilge holes.
Well, you want to put it below the waterline. And what I'm thinking is, do you want to put it all in one place, or do you want to put it on one side of the ship?
No, well, we definitely want
so it lists. It takes in water on one side and goes over.
Yeah.
Rather than doing it both sides.
Yeah, we definitely want one on the propeller. And then bang the rest into the holes. Then set like a 5-minute fuse. Or I'm sure you can do like a 6-minute, 5-minute, 4-minute.
Where are these holes?
If you're looking at the picture of the ship.
The water's coming up where the village is.
Hang on, picture's disappeared. Could you pop it up again, sir, please? Share it again.
Yeah, sure.
Cheers.
the midship, there's water coming out.
It's above the waterline. It's not going to do a great deal. It won't
Well,
sink it.
that-
You need this. You need it below the waterline.
That's pumping water out from the bottom, you see. So if you
It's
put that
whether
in
or
there,
not it goes down.
Yeah, it's whether you'd actually how far down it'd go. It's pumping. It may be pumping, but how is it pumping?
and maybe if you look at the back as well, there might be something below the waterline there. But again, if you look at the picture again, just to the left of there, down at water level, there's another one. There's another hole.
I'm assuming we can attach these to the hull. That's what we've been working on.
Yeah.
We've got some really strong magnets.
The other thing is, if we're doing the propellers, we've got to make sure that whether there's one or two propellers.
Well, if you tie it very close to the where the propeller stem goes into the ship, and just wrap it around that.
Yeah, so it breaks the prop shaft or whatever
Yeah.
it is.
And again, if there's any holes there, because there might be water vents or anything down there.
Well, there's going to be somewhere for the actual shaft to go through anyway.
Hmm.
The other way is getting on board and then putting it internally against the hull from the inside.
Yeah.
Depends how many people. Depends whether it's busy. You know how many people are on there.
Yeah. And there are going to be bodies if we do that.
There is a lookout.
There's going to be bodies
and
anyway, isn't
Yeah, there is a lookout, but again,
Probably.
like I said, they're looking at the shore side.
But if we blow it up from the outside, the body, it may come across as an accident or something. Rather, if we go inside and start killing them, to get to there, it's obvious that it's not an accident, that somebody's actually done this.
Oh, I think if anybody ever looks at this and sees the explosions from the outside in, and four of them, they're never going to think it's an accident ever in any way, shape, or form. Internally, at least you could say it's an internal explosion.
Yeah.
You get some fishermen shaking his head, going, "Bloody fish."
Right, how do you want to do this?
I think if it's through those holes and if it can find something underwater, it should force and buckle the metal.
Well, one's going to be used on the propeller anyway, so that's moot point. I need to check that out before anything else. See what we can do from there.
Okay.
I'm going to strip off my my warm top, keep my undergarments on, because I want something dry to put on when I come back out.
All right.
Yeah. And before taking anything in, I'm going to take a swim down.
Yeah.
Just check out the thing, see whether it is actually feasible or anything.
Give me. All right. Give me. Who's going into the water?
I'm going to go in with you as well.
Give me athletics checks, please, as you dive into the water. Okay, Joseph, nice. Okay. Ralph, you watch as your two companions kind of slip off the side of the motorboat and into the water.
Turns the engine on.
You see a lot of water frothing and then blood start pooling above it.
Yeah, start throwing grenades in after us.
Final destination, I love you.
The water is cold. I presume you've kind of left your long johns and things on, or whatever you wear with your clothes.
Yeah.
The water's cold. That's Joseph's excuse.
Yes.
Exactly.
As a pair of socks floats out.
You're not far off the sort of the stern of the ship, stern of the freighter. It is a single propeller freighter.
Okay.
The propeller is big, for sure. It's probably, the length of the propeller is probably something like that per blade. It's a big, probably bigger than that actually. But there is a single shaft that goes into the lower part of the ship, but it's not big. I mean, it's probably about that much.
Yeah.
Metal enough that you could tie something to it and get purchase. It would probably have an effect on the actual hull of the ship as well.
That's the idea. So hopefully that will let in water as well. That being underwater.
I just want to swim around on the outside, but around to see if there's any holes just under the water.
There are no holes under the water.
So just that one outlet that's about a couple of feet up, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's going to need the boat to get to.
So we put two by the propeller shaft, one on the shaft itself, one on the hole nearby. Built off between them, they should punch quite a big hole.
Yeah, and if you can put two through that bilge hole, I hope that's the right word.
It's either that or go on board.
I'm not a fan of that, to be fair.
You would use pilot skill, by the way, and you'd have to specify if it's piloting boat or something else.
All right, okay.
But that's fine.
I'll go back and get two of these and tell Ralph what we're seeing.
Yeah, you need to work out what fuse length you're going to need.
Yeah.
Okay.
Long.
Okay, so you swim along the side of the hull. The hull it's not a big deep hull. It's a freighter that's designed to go into medium depth harbours, certainly not deep harbours. The sort of the bottom of the hull is probably 10 yards maximum from the bottom of the hull to the
waterline.
No, I was thinking more like the
seabed.
Seabed, yeah.
The other direction.
I know what I want to say in my head and I just can't figure the words out. To the seabed, yeah. In terms of the waterline, it's sitting quite deep. But it's not. No, it's not sitting quite deep. It's not sitting as deep as you would expect a freighter of this size if it was full of standard cargo.
Yeah.
It's just box of vials, isn't it?
Probably sitting maybe 10, 12 feet below the waterline.
Because the vials aren't going to be heavy.
Correct.
Right, let's get to it. We know what we're going to do.
Okay.
Just Ralph, keep an eye out.
Okay.
And then
Walk me through what you're doing then. You fly, you swim back to the boat, you climb yourself back onto the boat, drip water everywhere.
Yep.
And prep the explosives?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Where are you placing them on the ship?
one on the shaft of the propeller, one
Yeah.
on the hull where the propeller goes into, where the shaft goes into the hull as well. So
Yeah.
double the explosion size there, hopefully, or force at least.
Well, just put those two literally opposite each other on the propeller shaft, right against the hull.
Yeah,
Okay.
either side of hull going through, so either side, shaft going in the middle. The holes that you see in the water, I'm guessing there's one on each side.
Yes. They are probably halfway up the hull, actually.
Yeah, we're going to need the boat to do that. You see, stand up in the boat and push them in if possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think we do want. We just do both on one side, and we put them both in the same hull. And if we push them far enough in, I'm hoping it might drop down into the into where the pump is.
Okay.
How big a hole do I think that these charges will actually do? Will they be big enough to let in water on this side?
Oh God, yes.
So I put it where the hole is. Actually, start pulling in the top, it's going to start sinking anyway. That's some water there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're using two of the minor charges on the rear of the boat. You're going to shove some grenades or dynamite down the holes.
No, we're going to use two minor charges down that one hole. Did we find out?
Charges won't fit. They're too big.
Did we work out a way to stick them to the side?
I'm thinking your minor charges are probably this kind of size.
Yeah.
But for torpedoes, they will be. They were heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are heavy. Your motorboat is probably technically above its safe driving weight with these charges in.
Well, it's for 6 people, isn't it? So it's there's only 3 of us at this.
Yeah, actually, you're probably all right. You are all right.
Yeah, if we can fit them under the water, we'll do it on one of the sides.
Well, do you have chemistry?
Nope. I don't know. Any sciences, apart from a little bit of medicine.
Okay.
I thought this is what we figured out on land, though.
Yeah. You have made a sticky substance. What you're not sure about is whether it's sticky enough to stick in water for the weight of the minor. So, don't know. Did you see? Did you see the series about the creation of the SAS?
Yes.
Where they had the sticky bombs, which were like socks with explosives in. Effectively, they'd run and they'd slap it on the side of a tank or something.
Yeah.
You've kind of created that. And you've put a slob of it on one side of the minor, and you're hoping that sticking it up against the thing will create enough of adherence, even in the water. All it needs to do is stay there long enough for that charge to detonate.
Yeah.
Well, why don't
one
Alfred
above, one just above the water line, another one under. So,
but sets off just in case the top one falls off and knocks it off.
Yeah. So like one there, one over here type thing under the water and water line in between.
Failing that, Alfred and I will swim to shore, and Ralph can just hold them against the boat.
How? Okay. So how far up the hull underwater are you going to put them?
Underwater, not far. Doesn't need to be far under. It's just so that it's below the water line, so that there's a hole letting water in.
It could be half and half, to be honest with you, because the size of the hole that it's going to make.
Yeah.
You normally put it under just to make sure it's on the water line, don't you?
Yeah.
But if it's going to be an issue with it being sticky long enough, and for it not to be seen, that's the other thing about putting it below the water line.
Well,
It's night time, so.
Yeah, so if we put them to same height, just around there, about 6 foot away from each other.
Sounds good.
That should make a huge hole.
We'll help each other. I'll be pushing you while you push it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And get it on securely.
All right. Just having a look.
But the ones on the propeller shaft are literally tied to the propeller shaft as close to the ship as possible. As close to the
Ultimately, if the propeller shaft, goes, it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Okay.
But it's that close to the hull, it should punch a hole in the hull as well and let in water.
Yeah.
Well, give me a physics spend. Ask you some questions. First question: What does the freighter run on?
diesel, won't it?
Second question: Where will the tanks be?
They'll be right on the rear, won't they? Oh no, where the big funnel is in the middle.
The tanks are evenly distributed across the entire hull.
Yeah,
the very bottom.
The bottom, isn't it? Yeah.
Correct.
If any higher, it'll be all over the place. So having it at the bottom, keeps it central.
Buoyancy, yeah.
And based on what you've read in, you're not a big ship by any stretch of the imagination, but you know things, right? Ralph is a smart, bookwormish kind of person. Typically, ships are compartmentalized, and each compartment is often designed to basically seal itself. The motor room is most likely in the middle, where the funnel is, exactly. But running across the length of the ship are probably a number of individual tanks. So, whilst blowing the propeller will definitely cripple the ship. Most likely, 2 charges at the rear will sink the rear of the ship. It will depend on how quick the crew can react to close off any of the compartments. But depending on where you put the explosives, if you can catch the oil as well, you will create potentially a nice big boom. So it's whether you want to sink the ship quietly, so to speak, or whether you want to sink the ship with a lot of explosive power.
Well, hopefully we won't be here when it goes kaboom, so...
Yeah, I'm easy either way. Just needs to get the job done.
The thing is, if we just sink the ship, there's all this stuff on board that they can just take off and sell again or move across.
Well, it depends. I say if there's a massive explosion, they won't. But if we put those 4 along the length of the hull, you're hitting multiple compartments there, which is why I said put them on one side across the full length, because you're separating it there. And even if they separate out, you're still going to get it taken in water on one side first, which will tip it.
Yeah. If we can guarantee that it'll stick to the hole, then yeah, that would work. It's whether or not it'll stick to the hole, or whether it's going to drop to the floor, or
Because
they're all useless.
yeah, if you think the fuse, what you can do is like a 10-minute fuse or a 5-minute fuse, so we can get away.
So ideally, we need some on the propeller shaft at least, so that we've got a guarantee.
It's a guarantee, yeah.
Well, the one on the propeller will take care of the rear compartment.
Yeah.
You know, that'll take care of that, whatever that rear compartment is. Then if we put two along the middle, either side of that hole, and then one towards the front, then even if there's 8, you're hitting 4 out of the 8. If it's depends how it's compartmentalized, depends how big the ship is. But yeah, those compartments, I don't think they work too well for the Titanic, did they? So we'll see how it works.
That because the poor people were trying to keep the doors open.
It's getting bloody warm in here. Open that door.
Nope, no. Okay, so yeah, one on the shaft then, right up against the ship.
How many life rings are on this boat? You can have some, aren't there?
They will have some, yes.
If you want to put it in the water, but under it in the water to keep it afloat.
Good thinking.
It'd stop the mine all sinking there through weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if
you could even do that with, it's got cushions in here, in the back here. That'll also be semi-buoyant for a period of time.
It's going to be hard to get it under the boat, though. With it being buoyant, we're pushing it against the buoyancy to get it under.
It'll be at water level, won't it? So if you,
I say, yeah, it probably, you know, a life ring will probably, with the weight of the mine, because it was bloody heavy, probably just sink below and it'll be up against it. So if you put it half and half, and then you just stuck the ring against it, it'd stop it dropping then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the ring's not flat; it's vertical, isn't it? Just
it's like that against it, and it'll stop it dropping.
Yeah, that's a damn good idea. That.
All right, you got a plan?
I think that's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
I don't think we've got anything else.
Okay.
Unless we want to go full SAS and take everybody on the ship down with knives, no gunfire, and then put all the bodies in one place and just blow them all up together, and there's no witnesses. We could do that and say they all fell asleep, but I don't think that'll work.
Can't remember whether they've got silencers for weapons or not.
No. You got scopes for the rifles, but not silencers.
We have got cushions on this leisure craft though, so if we get close enough, we can.
Put a cushion over their face.
What is it? A Beretta you've got? Let's see if that's...
So, here's what we're going to do. Remind me again of exactly where you're placing the charges.
Go for it.
One is on the propeller shaft, right by the hull.
Yep.
I'd
The
say
other 3.
Yeah, so from that picture, if we're saying that port pissing water out is the middle of the ship,
yeah,
I'd say one halfway between the rear and that hole.
Yeah, you see where the building on top, just do it straight directly down from that building, from the edge of the raised up bit. And then again on the opposite side.
And then one at the front.
Yeah.
Right. Bear in mind, one side of this is moored against the wharf.
Yeah, we're only doing it on one side. We're doing it on water side, not water side, which should be starboard.
On the left.
Okay, so one at the propeller, 1/4 of the way along, one halfway along.
No, 1 3/4 of the way along and then one at the other end.
Yeah, can you see
So we're not doing one in the middle, are we?
Can you see the picture of the ship?
Yep.
See where the main compartment that in the middle is?
Yeah.
If you go directly down from the left-hand side edge to there, and go to the right-hand side edge, and go down to there. So that's about middle, isn't it? About both.
Okay. So that's 3 charges. Are you going to keep a charge just in case?
No, that should be 4 charges because there should be one at the front as well.
Oh, one at the front as well.
Yeah.
Or did you say
all
halfway?
on one side. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Who's your expert? Who's your explosives expert?
I'm going to say the guy that was in the army.
So I need you to make
Who spent all his points on explosive last week, didn't he?
explosive rolls, please.
I knew you were going to say that. I've got 3 points left.
Well, that's fucked, isn't it?
Mm.
You didn't spend all your points on explosives, did you?
We're just going to
I
waste over
did.
here.
I had 5 points. I had to spend 2 last time.
By the way, I've discovered something about sanity versus Cthulhu Mythos.
Go on.
Mm.
You can only have 10 points of sanity max, and your maximum sanity is equal to your sanity minus Cthulhu Mythos.
Ooh.
Oh yes, that's fine. You have a maximum of 10 sanity. That's fine. You have nobody's increased their sanity because you can't. You've increased stability, right?
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
increased stability.
Yeah, I got confused. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
my sanity-
your max sanity is what? Sorry.
10.
Yeah.
That's the maximum it can be minus your current Cthulhu Mythos
So
score.
mine's 3 at the moment then.
So you got
So
7.
I've got 7 Cthulhu
Oh
Mythos.
shit! Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
Would
I've
that
got 9
change
sanity
anything?
anyway.
Have you known that earlier?
No, you're gonna go insane. You meant to go insane in this game anyway, so it's
because I could bump it to 15 as a bit of a
no. Like I say, I've got 7 of 8 sanity at the moment, so I'll set it to 3 of 3.
Which is a shame because there's another 4 books for you to read.
Yeah, I'm not reading all those.
How's that for typical? The one that doesn't have any points spent in is the best roll out of them all.
Okay. Over the next this is going to take a while.
Yeah.
And so you are risking that your sticky stuff doesn't stick. It's going to probably take you about 5 minutes. The ship's quite a bit. I mean, the ship's fairly big. You're swimming under. Are you taking the boat along with you quietly?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That makes it a little bit easy. Okay. Over the next 20 minutes, you start at the. Do you want to start at the bow and work to the stern, or go the other way?
No, otherwise, start at the propeller and go forward, I reckon. Because it's a guarantee it's the propeller.
And what's your time on the last one?
5 minutes? Or less than that. We've got to row a little bit out and then start the engine and go.
I wouldn't say less than that. I'd say, if anything, a little more.
Given you're putting each one of these in, you are. If the rear one is 5 minutes, so the way I'm picturing this is the freighter is berth.
Okay, can we put them on first and then set the times afterwards?
Yeah.
Okay, so we could do all the grunt work at 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then work, because I assume the way we'll be pulling out of here, we'll be pulling from the propeller away from the ship to get out of this bay.
Yeah.
So we'll set them from front to back.
Yeah.
So if it takes us 5 minutes just to go pull ourselves along the full length, so if we set the one at the front for 10 minutes, and then
we'll have the fuse out of the water so we can light it.
Yeah, 10.
we'll get to the other end for 5, won't we?
Yeah.
So we want to do it at sort of like 10. 7.5.
Yeah.
No, sorry, five at the end, 10, and then we've got 2 in between. So 6.5 and something at the other one.
Okay. All right. By the time you're finished, Alfred, you are knackered and you are cold.
Yeah. I'm putting my clothes on over my wet body. Don't care.
Alfred. Not Alfred. Joseph.
Yes, sir.
I need a motorboat roll. You can use your drive, but going forward, you really need to have a specific pilot.
Because I've got piloting, but it's for planes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got drive, no piloting. If you didn't install it.
Yeah.
Are you gunning the engine, or are you still going as slowly as possible?
I'm going to go with the current, but not loudly until we're a bit away. But I'll be timing it, so maybe the last minute I'm going to gun it.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good. The time's currently going out, so the current will take you out into the bay.
That's relief.
That's a relief.
Mm.
As you hit the point where the current starts to pull you, you gun the engine. As you gun the engine,
Get your camera out. Take a picture.
Yeah.
a spotlight on the rear of the freighter lights up and scans across the water, catching your boat as you pull away. Then, let's have a look at these rolls. We go in order that you planted them. The front goes off. There is a tremor that you feel in the water as you watch the ship buckle from the explosion. We are talking about 120 kilos in each of these packets. They were not light. Then the second one goes off. Not as effective, but still rips a hole lower down the hull than you placed it. There is a secondary explosion from that second one, which is just around the front edge of the forecastle. As the detonation ruptures one of the oil tanks and ignites the oil.
Oh no, how terrible.
So the first one stuck. The second one was sliding down the side of the ship when it detonated. The third one comes off the ship and hits the bottom of the seabed when it detonates and ruptures the underneath of the ship.
Oh.
And then the last one, the propeller and shaft is separated from the vessel. There is not a secondary explosion at that point, but there is a big hole in the rear that is now taking on water. And so what you see as you kind of pull out is you see a boom and a spurt of water, and the ship shudders. Then you watch as this massive fireball erupts and kind of covers the front, almost the front half of the front of the ship just goes up in flame. the rear of the ship, so the just behind the forecastle there, you kind of see it shudder and vibrate, and then seconds later, the rear of the ship starts to tilt, and the whole ship just starts to list and burn. Very quickly, you can hear confused screams and shouts. The spotlight goes at a funny angle, as you can imagine.
Does a bat symbol go in the air?
The bat symbol, yeah. The ship itself will start to lean and sink. Probably. Ooh, actually. The ship splits in half.
I was wondering about that with the destination coming under it, whether it would have.
A combination of the explosion, the secondary explosion of the oil tank in. See, I didn't show you this because I didn't want to give you any idea. I don't know. No, that's not what I wanted. So it's not quite the same layout, but if you assumed it was, right, you took out the propeller at the rear, probably roundabout motor room, just at the edge of motor room on this side of that map is where you ruptured the underneath. So it didn't quite set the oil on fire, but there'll be a big oil slick, which will get caught by the oil tank, which is at the front of that, which is a huge oil tank. 237 tons worth of oil that's just detonated the primary oil tank on the ship, and the oil slick from the rear of the motor room, that oil thing ignites probably 2 or 3 minutes later as it drifts across and mixes with the already flaming oil and ship that's on the water. That causes the motor room area to split in half and for the ship to tear itself apart, and then the front sinks going down as well with a very powerful explosion.
I'm not sure whether we're the A-team or just fucking terrorists. Probably both.
Yeah, we're definitely classed as terrorists now, I'm sure.
Minol was able to split a submarine hull at a distance of 26 feet away from the center of the explosion.
Jesus. Bigger bada boom.
Which is why when the one that where your low roll, the 2 I think it was, it fell off and hit the ground. It was still within enough pressure to damage the underneath of the ship.
Yeah.
Immediately though, out in the bay, you can see searchlights from the distant British warships spin round and start to focus on this area. I need you to make
it to land as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Stealth roll, please, Joseph, to see if you can avoid being caught in the beam.
Don't fail me now.
Yeah, I seem to get good rolls on the Thursday, and lately not so good ones on the Monday anymore.
Okay.
Basically, I'm going to try and find
several small launches come out from those frigates and destroyers probably 15 minutes after the explosion. You are pretty much across the main open channel and into the shadows of Valletta and Valletta's coastline. But even from where you are behind you, you can still see this burning wreck of a ship on the waterline.
So which way have we gone? Have we gone back the way we came?
Yeah, you've kind of gone
sort of directly across away from it, then back the way.
Yeah, you've gone this way.
Yeah.
You're hugging as close as you can.
Yeah.
To bring yourself around.
Well, I do believe that. Let's moor up against Mr. Donovan's boat
Okay.
while we're here, while people are distracted.
What the hell?
In for a penny, in for a pound.
Mm.
You saddle your boat up against the Elegance.
Are there any lights on it?
No.
No.
It's-
Okay.
The Elegance is, let's just give you another view of the Elegance once again. It is obviously bigger than the motorboat that you're in, but it's not anywhere near as big as the freighter. Around this side of the bay, you can't see. I mean, if it was daytime, you'd probably see the smoke in the sky, but you can't see anything from here. There doesn't seem to be too much of a commotion out on the marina or anything this side. You can tie up to the rear, you can tie up to the front. Let's have a question.
Probably
rear
the
will have a ladder,
opposite.
won't it?
Yeah, but on the rear on the opposite side of land.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes, there is a ladder at the rear that is down and dangling in the water.
Because that's how his dead wife likes to go for a swim.
That's how they get back in.
Yeah.
The ship actually will rotate around its anchor, so the ladder at this point will be facing away from the other side of the boat from the Valletta side.
Okay, I'm going to take my my pistol out of my pack and my torch.
And
I'm not going to turn the torch on.
Okay.
Yep.
We're not sinking this as well, are we?
Never rule it out.
Well, yeah, we want to have a look around it as well.
Right, taking a few grenades with me then.
No, dynamite.
Dynamite would be better. Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, I have no points left to spend in explosives.
That's all right.
Well, give us a shout when you've done and we'll come back and pick you up.
It's all right, I'll just strap it to you and then just say, pull this whilst we're far enough.
Well, I'm assuming we do dynamite, we could just leave it on here and set fire to the boat around it.
Yeah, good
And
idea.
that'd be the natural fuse.
Yeah, true.
Okay. Climbing on board the Elegance. Let me give you. Okay. Looking inside the Elegance. Looks a little bit like that.
Ooh.
It is approximately three decks. You've got the obviously the lower deck. You've got the midship deck, and then you've got the upper deck. So the upper deck would be, again, if you look at the picture, the upper deck is exactly as you see. The upper deck with the steering house and the rescue boat on the top. The middle deck is what that picture's from. It's just a bunch of sort of rather nice looking staterooms. Then the lower deck would be some cabins and things at the bottom, plus all the the beds, the engine wheelhouse and beds and stuff like that. The beds being mostly at the front half of the ship, the engine and the wheelhouse and all the mechanical and not really electronic stuff on the vessel will be at the rear.
I think the galley will be down in the bottom as well, won't it?
Yes.
Look for any books or anything that might be of interest.
So actually, the galley is in this middle section here.
Oh.
So looking around, so at the very bottom floor you have the cabins. You have 4 cabins. Midship, you have the engine room. The next deck up is the deck that you can walk around, but also there you will have a galley and a sitting room. And up on the top is just, on the top of the ship is just the wheelhouse.
Wheelhouse and sunbathing.
Yeah, it looked like I had a sort of sun lounge at the back, didn't it?
And sun lounge, yeah.
Right, let's take it floor by floor. We'll do the we're looking for information, I think, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, the wheelhouse, going up onto the top, the wheelhouse, as you can imagine, is quiet. The door is closed. It's not locked. There is a sense again that Donovan obviously feels that the ship is the yacht is far enough off land that he doesn't need to worry about locking it up, and there is a key in the ignition, and it's just sat there. It appears to have a quarter of a tank worth of fuel in it, but it's quite dusty in here.
Oh, we could just start the engine, get off, and just let it sail out to the middle of the sea. They'll never get it again.
No, I think blow it up, make a statement.
Moving down to the next layer, the sitting room. The sitting room is kind of towards the rear of the middle deck. It has a large bar area. The bar is pretty dry. Scattered around the sitting room are a number of empty glasses, unwashed mugs and plates.
Is the floor dusty?
Yes.
Any sign of any footprints, or is it just dust?
No.
Lovely.
Just dust. Every single one of the glasses and the mugs all have that smell of evaporated alcohol in them. And all the bottles in the bar are empty.
You talk to the wrong people here. They'll never have smelt anything that's evaporated. It has been drunk.
Glancing around, I think, Ralph, you've got art history, right?
I've got art.
Yeah, art history. Yeah.
Okay, start with art.
Your point spend art history.
No point spent needed. There are lots of slightly brighter patches all around the sitting room walls. And you can see, when you look at them, there are small pegs in the wall. Obviously, art of some kind has hung here. But that's not quite what catches Ralph's attention. Barely visible painted in some kind of almost translucent but very slightly yellow liquid behind many of where the paintings were are a number of occult symbols representing wards against magic of all kinds, against witchcraft of all kinds, wards against being watched.
So this is where he came for his nefarious business dealings. And it was a safe space.
Anybody got pharmacy? No, don't think you do.
No.
Medicine's the closest I've got.
Okay. Examining the liquid or the dried liquid, there is that very faint musk smell that denotes nectar. So these wards and things that have been drawn onto the walls, hidden by paintings, were originally used by were created, by Nectar.
So they've been drawn on with the excretions of
Asian mouth.
an alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But watered down version.
Yeah.
Moving into the galley. The galley is pretty much bare. There are a handful of books on several bookshelves, but nowhere near enough books to fill more than 2 bookshelves, and these are wall to wall on either side of the galley. Looking at them, they're very much works of fiction. Romantic dramas, children's adventure stories, adult adventure stories. Not seedy, just generally, Wild West or Into the Jungle, that kind of thing. Jules Verne and that stuff. It is. Other than that, there's nothing. There are a few couches and sofas and chairs in here, but nothing else. Heading down to the cabins. The main cabin, which sits at the very rear of the boat, houses a really large, quite elegant double bed and a number of wardrobes. The bed itself is tossed. Looks like whoever slept in it last didn't bother to make it again. There are a couple more mugs by the side of the bed. There's one tipped over on the floor, and around that the carpet has that smell of alcohol. Inside the closet are a number of, well, actually, when you open up the wardrobe, or one of the wardrobes, it is full of women's clothing. Very fine women's clothing. Joseph, you recognize that some of these clothes are of top tier designers from America, along with Italian and French designer. A mixture of casual and smart attire. The other wardrobe closet is American, and it says closet on here. I keep reading it. The other wardrobe on the other side, like of the door that you come in, is bare.
Very strange.
I get the feeling that if we could take all those ladies' clothing, vacuum seal them, put them in take them with us, that in 100 years my family would be rich.
Yeah. We could, because we found this in a bay, and and we're going to wait a time for this to do this. We can start a company called The Bay.
The Bay. We're getting tired, aren't we?
With jokes like that, fucking hell.
I know.
First of mine, that would be a Fox Award immediately.
Absolutely.
The last, there are 2 other cabins. There are 3 other cabins. They're all single cabins. None of them hold anything bar one. In one of the cabins under the bed, you find a book has been shoved under the the mattress. With a little bit of trepidation, Ralph pulls it out and looks at it, and it says, "The cat who went to heaven." And Ralph recognises this is a children's book, specifically about an artist whose cat dies of joy when he paints her into a picture with the Buddha.
Okay.
Pleasant. I will take it.
Okay.
I will-
Through it to see whether it is what it says it is.
Yeah, not here though.
Yeah.
It's a picture book, which when you look at it backwards and upside down, it says Cthulhu was here.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Scouring the rest of the ship for the next half hour, 45 minutes, takes you to about 11 o'clock. You find nothing else of interest on this ship. The sense that you get is, for the most part, it's been gutted of anything other than the clothing and this hidden book. It's been gutted of anything sentimental. There are no pictures, there's no indication of who owns the boat, none of that. The second thing is, it's very clear that the owner drank, either on their own or with friends, drank their way through the bar in its entirety before leaving the vessel. And did so even to the point where they didn't want to clean it up after them. You get the sense that Donovan doesn't want to come back here. Ever.
It seems very strange why all his clothes have gone, and I know it's a sentimental thing for the wife, but that's a lot of money he's left in that wardrobe.
Yeah.
Well. He's got more money than God, hasn't he? So.
Yeah, true.
But I don't get, if he's killed his wife, why does he want to be able to view the boat where all the stuff is?
Maybe it was an accident of his making.
One of those accidents that happen on purpose, you mean?
Yeah.
You mean like the accident that happens on purpose when somebody falls asleep and drowns in the bath?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that,
Yeah.
that match that was just left at that frigate. That's a terrible thing.
Terrible. People are careless.
Yeah. Smoking in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gone.
See, destroying
Are we
this
going to
boat
put-
won't have any impact. Sentimentally, I don't think.
Well,
It could mess with him. It's
It's-
like I was going to
yeah.
take the book and leave. I was going to post him this book, but
well, basically, his big ship's been blown up. If we blow this up too, he will know that somebody's looking for him.
I think he'll figure that out from the first one. But
Yeah, but it's just personal now.
if this just vanishes rather than being blown up, then he's going to become paranoid as to what have they got it for, and essentially, is there any evidence left behind or anything?
As his wife come back,
Do you know?
I'm interested in his clothes.
I'm not tempted to take the clothes and give it out to a charity shop in the town. He's going around and see people in his wife's clothes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's evil.
Do it.
But
That's
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, not even, we can just give it to the poor.
Yeah.
All the homeless suddenly walking around in designer clothes.
In fact, we don't need to give it to anybody. We should leave them around the park.
Oh, is there
Suitcase.
No, this suitcases, but if there's an apartment store with mannequins, dress all the mannequins in there.
Put them in his garden.
It'll steal the clothes, steal the mannequins, yeah. Put them around town.
We're all getting tired. Okay, so
Listen, if I'm losing sanity reading books, you can lose a bit of sanity as well.
Yeah. So what's the plan? Are you going to set the boat adrift? Are you going to turn on the engine, set it off in a rough course out of the bay, hope it makes it out of the bay? You're going to blow it up? You're going to leave it? You're going to take all the clothes?
I would have taken the clothes now. but no. If we send it out the bay with the engine running and put a steering lock on it to keep it in one direction, and hopefully he'll think, "Oh, my wife's come back."
Well, I'm thinking that someone's taking it for evidence type of thing. If she was murdered here, then it might make him a little bit paranoid as to where it's gone. Whereas
Well-
destroy it, he just knows it's somebody's destroyed it.
Yeah, if we set it on an eastern course, it'll just head over towards Crete and
Yeah.
run out of fuel at some point.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Send it out into the open sea. Either the weather will wreck it, or it'll eventually be found or drift into some shore somewhere. But
I think it's only about
that could take
8.
months,
I
if
think
not
it's
years.
I think it's only about 80 miles to Sicily, but Crete's a long way away to the east. So
Yeah. Maybe scatter some of her clothes around in case you just find it.
chuck them in the water,
Yeah.
dump them all into the bay.
So you're going to set the boat adrift, under power,
Yeah.
eastward.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you doing with the clothes?
I say just leave them.
I'm tempted to just take a dress.
That's for
Yeah.
your weekend, though, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I'm going to take a dress and stash it into the carry-on.
Okay. Any particular country? Italian, French, American?
I'm going to go for an American one, and I
Yeah.
want it to be more smart casual.
Right.
Something that you can walk around in the village in Valletta wearing.
Let's have a look.
I think
There is
something
a
sort of
rather-
grown
There is a
forward.
rather nice main bosher dress in French style. But nonetheless of the American designer Rousseau Boucher. Main Boucher. Boucher. Main Boucher, yeah.
Yep.
So, she's American, but technically it's a Parisian. It's a Parisian-made dress at the moment. She doesn't start operating in New York until the 1940s.
Nope, that's good.
But there you go. Okay. Not going to make you roll for any of this. So, again, you set the... you go up into the wheelhouse, start the engine. It takes a while for the engine to cut over. It's obviously not been turned over for a while. As you're doing that, you instruct Ralph to raise the anchor, and he pulls up the anchor and stows it on board. Joseph, you snatch a dress, rather nice, sort of slightly above the knee dress, in a nice dark blue colour. And Alfred, you rig as best you can the steering mechanisms of the boat and set it off. At that point, you all head down to your craft, jump on your craft, and untie yourselves and just let it drift off, drive off as you go. You will eventually lose sight of it as it's dark still, and it's probably gone a bit cloudy actually. There seems to be something blocking the moon.
Black smoke.
I think we should put this boat back exactly where it was.
Okay, you can put the boat back exactly as where it was. You think you can put it back as best you can. Obviously, it's going to have less fuel in it than it started, but yeah, you can put it back where you got it from. You can put your key back. You can make it look as close as you can remember to how it was. Give me a stealth roll.
No. Oh boy, here we go.
Can I assist on this? Oh.
Yep, you can assist for sure.
Oh, there you go. What my points in stealth gone?
Yeah, mine are all gone.
Yeah, mate. I'll roll then. I've only got 1 point left.
Go for it. That does mean you're making a full frontal assault against the warehouse next. Okay. You managed to tie up the boat, put it back how you think you got it, and get yourself off the dock with all your equipment, not leaving anything behind, to your car, where you're able to kind of get into the car, start the engine, and get yourself back to your hotel for about 1 a.m.
I wouldn't mind trying to get into the hotel without anybody seeing us, but that's not going to help. Or maybe pretend to be drunk as we go in.
Yeah.
Go to a bar first on the way back and get a drink or something.
Most things are closed by now. It's sort of 1 a.m. in the morning, so a lot of things would be closed. We don't have the kind of nightlife. Beaky. Yeah, no, there's probably a couple of bars that you can find that'll be open till early in the morning.
Dodgy little place.
Yeah,
you can do that. Okay. Well, it's just after 2 a.m. in the morning when you kind of trot back up to your hotel, staggering in, pretending you're a little bit worse for wear. The concierge is, please, sirs, be quiet. On your way to your room, hope you had a good evening. Doesn't really say anything else. I think that's what we'll call it a night.
Yeah, I suggest we all have a bath before, not together. We all have a bath and get any residue that's off our hands and stuff.
Yeah.
Nicely done. You blew up a frigate.
Yay.
Would we do some damage if we were military characters?
I will. Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
I will think about the consequences.
We need to go into hiding, by the way.
Yeah.
We need to go and find that knight.
Yeah, we can live in
We
the
need to go into hiding with him. That's where we need to be before morning comes.
4 years later, we come out of the catacombs and the whole place has been taken over.
Yeah.
Well, you've got to decide. You've got to decide now what you want to do because you've triggered some. You've triggered. He's going to be alert. You've set them back a little bit, but not a huge amount. You've certainly inconvenienced them for a period. It's whether you want to deal with Donovan or whether you want to deal with the mouth or whether you want to move on to somewhere else. I'll leave that to you to decide for next week.
I'd hazard a guess that port now will be on lockdown for a while as well. The military will just go, nope, nothing's coming in here.
Which also means that warehouse should be on lockdown that it's right next door to. Hopefully.
Hopefully, you'll find out in the next session.
Oh. Right,
Hope you enjoyed it this evening, gentlemen.
That was fantastic, as
Well,
always, sir.
That is the first time, I think. Well, no, apart from the village in Ethiopia, this is the first time you've got explosive in your methods.
Yeah.
I'm sure it won't be the last. Well, we've done